Hey guys, and welcome back to another week of Weekly Coldplay. My name is Monica,
And my name is Daniel.
and we are a podcast all about
You guessed it.
the Las Vegas Sphere.
Did you know that their website used to have pi incorrect? Like the digits were wrong on the
Oh,
website.
3.14. Oh, well, you know what? No, because I know you go through the entirety of it, so we're not going to
The
spend that
entirety
time.
of it? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna go through the
yes,
entirety of
yes, you
pi.
will. You will. I've
All
seen you
infinite
do it.
digits.
Yes, you will.
I only know 81 digits.
Okay, well, we're not going to sit here and have you list all 81 just for you to tell us which one was incorrect. But you know what? I believe you. I believe you, Daniel. Which one was
It was like
incorrect?
an issue where they had like copied like a line on where they had formatted it on their website. So it like repeated the same chunk of numbers twice. And so
Oh,
at from that point on, everything was wrong.
oh. Okay.
Someone
Thank
pointed
you.
it out in a YouTube video and then they mysteriously fixed it.
Hmm. Okay, well, it turns out this is not about the sphere. It's now about the number pi, I guess.
Which
Anyway,
is not as good as Tau.
yeah. Anyway, this week we are going to talk about We Pray. And so we pray. That song is finally out. Uh, I can't believe that we actually have it out. I mean, I can't believe it. I've been listening to it
I can
nonstop.
only
But
believe it because I've listened to it so many times.
yeah, exactly. But I'm just so hyped. It just for me, it just feels like Moon music is closer and closer and closer. So I'm super hyped about that. And then
I
we're
know it
also
feels like
talking.
the album's actually gonna come out.
I know, right? God, no more clowning. But we are also going to be talking about the Phil Harvey interview that he had on the Coldplay Discord. Um, because that was super cool. That was like the coolest freaking thing. Again, Phil, if you happen to be listening, I want you on this podcast. I don't know how we can make that work, but you'll have to get on Discord again, I guess.
We'll
I'm
walk you
sorry
through
about
it
that.
step by step.
Yeah, yeah, because it was he was late, but anyway, we'll talk about that later. Um, and then of course we have tour news. Coldplay are currently in Vienna, and then we'll have spoilers and speculation. It's not a lot for spoilers and speculation. It's a lot of there's a lot of news this week though, so we're gonna get just right into it. We're not gonna wait around. So we pray. Daniel, what are your thoughts on We Pray? We already know what the thoughts are, but what can you describe how you're feeling?
So this morning, I woke up early to fly on an airplane, and then on the airplane, I listened to We Pray like 10 times at least. Um, yeah, I mean, I think that exemplifies it. I have listened to it so much. I have forced everyone
Mm-hmm.
around me to listen to it. When I'm not listening to it, it is playing on loop in my head, and then I'm singing it unconsciously. Um, yeah, and then I
Yeah,
talked about
same.
it to everyone.
Same. For me, it's obviously always on repeat, and then I go and I listen to Dilemma by Nelly, and then I go back and I listen to We Pray. Um, na 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 na. Na. Okay. um, but overall, We Pray. It's really really good, and I mean this is just much better. Okay, well, in my mind, like the Glastonbury version and the studio version are obviously they're very different. This is much better as far as like understanding the lyrics and what's going on because now it all makes sense rather than me just being like, okay, little Sims, go off. I don't know what you're saying because the sound quality is really bad at Glastonbury to video, but
Yeah.
hopefully the quote unquote studio version of that's going to be on the single will be much better and better mixed.
And it's very cool to be able to hear all the lyrics now because this is one of those rare Coldplay songs where the lyrics are actually like very meaningful. And
Yeah,
no hate, no hate on the Mumblies, but Chris, you've admitted it. You BS the
yeah,
lyrics. It's fine. We all love the songs, but it is fun to get a song where like it means something. And
yeah,
I feel strong emotions listening to the words
yeah. I'm in the valley of the
and
shadow of death.
and
Come
like the
on.
message of the song is so
Yes.
important and dear to me.
Yes.
which we'll get more into like exactly how Chris defines the message of the song in a
Mhm.
bit, but just like ever since I first heard it in Glastonbury, it has always felt just like it is an extension of the message Coldplay has been saying of like we're all one, we share the same veins, we share the same
Mhm.
prayers. Um,
Yeah, same effing blood, as they say in Arabesque.
yeah. But one interesting line, one that we interpreted incorrectly for a long time as "Pray Virginia wins," um, is "Pray Virgilio wins," which seems like it is almost definitely a reference to Virgilio Aguilar, who was a Guatemalan who was arrested. He like basically the situation, as far as I've read about it, is the police came up to him and he couldn't understand the language they were speaking, and then they attacked him. And one of the officers had a heart attack and died of natural causes. There was an autopsy confirmed this officer died of natural causes. Regardless, they charged him with involuntary manslaughter. He was 18 years old, but he couldn't
Mhm.
understand either English or Spanish well enough to stand trial or even understand what the charges against him were. And that caused the case to gain widespread attention, and it was something that Coldplay had like spoken out in support of him.
Mhm.
The good news is that in March of this year, the charges against him were dropped.
Yeah. And so we don't have to hope that Virgilio wins. He did.
Yeah,
But yeah, overall, my thoughts on We Pray. I guess I kind of want to go through the song like a little bit. The most notable bits for me are whenever Little Sims goes and keep my sisters alive, like in the background, like the backing vocals on that, just Chris going and keep my sisters alive. It's so good. It's incredible. Um, that's all I honestly really wanted to touch on. Yeah, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Every time I listen to it, I get goosebumps during that part. Um and okay, well the one thing I guess that kind of threw me for a loop while listening to the studio version was that you don't get like Eliana, like whenever it was a Glastonbury version, Eliana, she is singing during the la 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 la, that part, and she's, singing her heart out, and it sounds so good, but that wasn't in the studio version, so I was a little bit sad about that, but I'm glad I still get
fingers
it in the
crossed for
Glastonbury.
Eliana version.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Speaking of Eliana, here she briefly actually posted a little bit of a snippet of her part, um, of the Eliana version on Twitter.
Oh, I
And
haven't
so yeah.
even seen this, I don't think.
Oh yeah. It was very brief. And it's like a very brief part of her part, and it's just her singing a verse.
One bit of the song I really liked is when Chris is doing all the la 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 la.
Yeah.
There's a bit where in the background, Little Sims just goes la la la. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know. It just makes me chuckle every time I hear it. Also, very first time I listened to this song and I got to the end and I thought it was over. And
Yeah.
then the last 20 seconds, oh my God.
Yeah. It's so good. And I already know, like, if they play that live, it's gonna get the Charlie Brown treatment of they're not gonna play like the end bits, like the end piano bits. If they ever play this live, we'll get to that later. Um, but yeah, that part is it's so good. It's Chris sounds great. I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with this song. Period. I'm blocking out the haters about everyone who's saying negative things about this song. Like, all right,
Wait, people are
chill.
saying negative things about this song?
Yes, a lot of
I
people
didn't.
because it's outside. It's quote unquote like outside Coldplay's genre, and
And
so they're
so what? Coldplay doesn't
yeah,
have one specific genre anymore. They
yeah,
play like all kinds of stuff. That's like the
exactly,
whole beauty of it. They get to
correct.
experiment with all kinds of genres and make fantastic, amazing music,
Mm-hmm.
collaborate with amazing artists. I, do they even get the point of Coldplay?
Clearly not. Clearly they don't. So Yeah,
Like, I feel
there you
like
go.
Chris has even said he doesn't want to be confined to one genre or like one style of music everyone expects from them.
Yeah, that's actually that was later we're gonna talk about interviews, and I don't think I had written it down, so I would say it now. But he had actually mentioned that in an interview that he did yesterday.
See,
That
look at me. I
yeah
haven't seen these interviews. I just have a psychic link with Chris.
yeah exactly. But that's pretty. That's literally what he said, like verbatim. That like he basically said that music is more of like it's more than just genre. It's like it's more telling of like what will happen like culturally. Like the first people like he was saying how some of the first people like gay people who were like accepted were like in music, and then how hip hop also had like a rise in like the 90s and stuff like that. um
And blues.
yeah, and blues too. So yeah, it Chris touched on that. I forgot which interview it was. It might have been the Odyssey one with Brew. That sounds right. I think it was that one. I don't
I
remember.
tried to
There were so
watch that
many.
one and I only had time to get through like 5 minutes of it before I had
Mm-hmm.
to run and catch a train.
Mm.
Um, that I missed actually. But
Yeah. Yeah. It was. It's that is a pretty good interview. But anyway. Yeah. We pray. 10 out of 10 for me. What about you, Daniel?
oh yeah, 10 out of 10. And for the record, I love Feels Like I'm Falling in Love. Like, absolutely adore the song. But I will say, I feel like I like We Pray more.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
which is not in any way a negative reflection on Fliffle. It's just that I love We Pray so much.
Yeah. I agree. You know what? I just realized that every time I listen to We Pray, I'm not doing that. So now I have to do it whenever I listen to it next.
See, I'm like
That's
holding
all.
myself back right now from leaving the podcast to just start listening to We Pray.
Okay, okay. Please don't leave the podcast to go listen to We Pray. You listener, you can. Daniel, you not right now. Right after whatever we stop recording, go ahead. Um. All right. Next up, we are going to talk about Phil Harvey. Um, he did a Q&A with the Coldplay Discord, which was like the coolest freaking thing. I can't believe it. He was like 15 minutes late. But that's okay. That's okay. Discord is hard to navigate whenever you're first on it. So like I get that. Okay.
I
Also
will
he's
say, I thought it
yeah,
was very cute that he had to put a piece of paper on his screen to cover up the video of his own face because it
himself.
was too distracting.
Yeah. So real of him. Same me. um but yeah, we're gonna go through some talking points of what they talked about. Well, first of all who interviewed him, it was Haley, um, and then it was Mao and Walmart, and yeah, I'm so happy for them. I'm happy for I'm happy for the Coldplay Discord in general that they got to have this opportunity. I'm proud and I'm happy that I'm a part of the Discord. Um, yeah. Okay, so getting right into it, of what Phil had, kind of touched on. Um, First off, he was very, very vague when asked about 2025 tour dates. Phil was like, "Yeah, we don't have any plans to like announce anytime soon,"
He
and
did say, though, I do remember him saying it was in the works. He said there weren't
yes,
plans to announce soon, but it was in the works.
Phil had specifically said that he sees the band being very busy in 2025. So yeah, hopefully that means
Yeah,
something good.
I think he also mentioned that like when it comes to tour dates, he was trying to like have plenty of time to like set things up and make sure
Yeah.
it was like all gonna go according to like the schedule because as we all know, Chris can be fickle.
Mhm. Um, also, I want to say while we're going through all this stuff, it's not in any particular order. It was what I remembered from the time, like when I watched the interview to when I was just writing down these notes. So,
If you, listener yourself, would like to go listen or watch the whole interview, we will put the link to the YouTube recording in our description.
okay, so the next thing was the Coloratura Roundhouse video, the infamous video. Um, Phil said that there's a cult around that video. And
Yeah, I'm
he was
part of
like,
it.
yeah, exactly, me too. And he was just like, how do you know that we didn't just film like 2 minutes? So who knows if it's actually going to be released. But this is me demanding right now, Phil Harvey, release that video. Please. I beg of you. For everyone in the Roundhouse Coloratura video cult, we all need it right now.
Yeah.
Um, Next, the race is always in talks. About and like always in album talks apparently. Um,
Yeah, apparently it was in Moon Music album talks. Like it was on the track
yeah,
list at some point in time.
yeah. So the race still exists. Will it ever
And
exist in our ear holes? We don't know.
Phil says he's pretty confident it will eventually be released. It's just who
Please.
knows when.
Yeah. Probably like I don't know, 50 years from now in the time capsule. Someone asked about certain B-sides that are just on Spotify to be put onto different streaming platforms. And Phil said that he was gonna look into it. The songs being, for example, World Turned Upside Down, Death Will Never Conquer, and stuff like that. And Phil was also asked about Luna, the song that was for charity that also had Kylie Minogue on it, and David Bowie infamously had turned down. Um, which sucks because like Luna, I love that song. But it's way too sexy, as Phil said and as Chris had said as well. Um, but
Yeah, those are the words they used.
yeah, yeah. Uh, but Luna will probably never exist ever on any streaming platform. Um, but Phil also said that he wants Will to do a studio recording of Death Will Never Conquer for streaming platforms. So I would love
I
that.
want
I mean,
that too.
I love the left, right, left version. It's so good. Um, but yeah, I would love
Yeah,
that.
that's the main one I listen to. I'll like it's I don't know, it's fun and then Chris on harmonica,
Yeah,
like come on, come on. We need it. We need it right now. Actually,
yeah.
give up on Moon Music and get in the
Oh my
studio.
god.
They have a studio backstage at every show. Right now they could go record it with Will singing the vocals. Right like today. Uh they have the studio with them. Will, it's called Death Will Never Conquer for a reason.
All right, next, Phil said that Chris still had plans to do two more albums, and that 2025 isn't the final isn't when the final album will be released. Um, when Chris said this like a few years ago, he just thought that they would be done by then. So yeah, we still have more years of Coldplay. We don't know how many years, at least like of new Coldplay albums. Potentially, they're gonna say this, and then once that last album releases, they're gonna be like, "Well, nope, I still got more music in me," and they're probably gonna release another album. Like they're always like this. So I don't believe his lies.
Don't believe his lies.
Exactly. So we'll see. I hope that we have Coldplay forever and ever and ever. But even after the quote unquote last two albums come out, um, the band the band isn't gonna stop existing. At least performing and doing stuff like that. So we're still gonna have Coldplay. I just not new content. I guess. I don't know.
There's no
I
way.
I
There's
would
no way
really
they're
like new
not going to keep
content.
making new content. I
I
think
know.
Chris is incapable of not. Wait, Chris is incapable of not making new content. Yeah, that's the
Yes.
correct
Yeah.
sentence.
All right, and lastly, Phil indeed had sent the Discord fan lyric video via email to the band, and both Will and Johnny had replied with multicolored heart emojis. So I'm gonna throw up that Johnny Buckland has seen me. I mean, he's already seen me in real life, but like, he saw me again. What if he remembered me? I don't know. I don't want to
And
think about it. Oh my
you
god.
don't care at all that Will Champion saw you?
Okay, I care that Will saw me as well. I was just like gushing about Johnny for a second because that's my favorite. He's my favorite. Um, but yes, I'm also gonna throw up that Will saw me. I'm gonna throw up that any member of Coldplay has seen me.
You're just gonna throw up, period.
Yes, yes, correct. Um, and yeah, that's the headliners. Again, we're gonna have the link down below in the description for the Discord interview. It's really cool. Again, I'm super happy for everyone at the Coldplay Discord that got to experience that and be a part of it. And thank you, Phil Harvey. You're amazing. I love you. I'll never stop loving you.
All right, in other news today, we have a bunch of interviews that happened because obviously a new fantastic single dropped. Everyone wants a piece of the news. There was an Elvis Duran interview, the Odyssey interview, a 3FM interview with Guy, and a Pop Crush interview. Um, they all covered a lot of similar themes, so we're just going to go through some of the various things that they went over. First off, this came up several times. It's a weirdly specific question to me, but they were asked if they were going to play the Sphere in Vegas. I've seen the Sphere. It's like from the outside. It is cool, but it doesn't strike me as like a Coldplay venue. Anyway,
I
Chris
think
said,
it's the inside definitely because like I don't know if you've seen videos inside the Sphere, but it would be awesome if Coldplay was in there.
I have only seen like pictures of lobby areas. So,
Oh no,
um,
yeah, yeah. I'll send you some videos of when U2 was there.
okay, but speaking of you two, Chris had just seen you two there with his best friend Phil Harvey. Um, and now you two had such a great residency. They're not going to go do shows there. How could they ever follow that? It's like being in the Olympics after Usain Bolt. Um, but yeah, Chris said he also just doesn't really want to stay in one place for a long time. They prefer to travel. Uh,
We will touch
pin
on
in
that
that
later.
for right, pin in that for right now. Um,
Yeah,
Another question that got asked a bit is, what is the message of We Pray? And Chris, one of the themes he was saying, it was very similar to the themes that have like like struck me about the song since I first heard it in Glastonbury, about how like thinking of all the conflict in the world and the way people like can't get along with each other. Like at the end of the day, our basic wants and desires, the things we pray for, they're all the same. It's like it's the overlap between us all. Um, and he wanted to highlight different cultures and diversity, so he collaborated with Burna Boy, Little Sims, Teeny, and Eliana. One of the things he pointed out in the Odyssey interview is that they're from four different continents and four different languages, and he felt that that really fit. He also said that the song came to him in a dream, complete with featured artists. Um,
yeah,
Even funnier, he was asked why the album is called Moon Music, and he said, similar to how he dreamt We Pray. The name just came to him, and he thinks it looks nice with the M's and the O's together.
yeah. That's so real of him. That is
Yeah,
so real of him. I agree. I agree. By the way, it does look nice.
I mean, it does look nice. That is true. So another question asked was if, like, based on Feels Like I'm Falling in Love and We Pray, is that basically what we can expect from the rest of the album? So when Guy was asked this, he said that the album is a collection of very different sounding songs. And Chris agreed with that, but also said that the album is like a short manifesto for the band. Um, which interesting choice of words, but
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear the Coldplay manifesto. The manifesto is I am a mountain.
I was about to say that. Oh my god, I was about to say that.
That's the queer shine.
Yeah.
Um, one thing that he was asked that I've also been curious about was why the one word title for Feels Like I'm Falling in Love. And Chris compared it to like it's the rush of being in love. Like, oh my God, I have a crush and it feels like I'm falling in love. And it's a state of being and you can always be in love with everyone, which I find a very relatable sentiment. Yeah, it's just very sweet. He also talked some about the sustainability and that they are working on potentially having the whole floor be kinetic at their shows, which I was actually telling my friend about earlier for no reason, just because my friend lets me talk to them about Coldplay. And I was telling them how cool and excited I am about that prospect. Um,
Yeah, whenever during that interview, because that was the Pop Crush interview, the interviewer is just like, yeah, so like on the moon there are moonquakes, so like how would you have moonquakes at the shows? And then Chris was like, hold on, wait a second, this is perfect. And so now everyone's gonna jump at the shows and create little moonquakes. So that's just so cute. I'm obsessed with that.
oh
um,
God, I want to be there for that so bad.
Yeah. Um well, okay, so this show that they were talking about that's going to be at potentially was when, they were asked about more tour dates and Chris was just like, "Well, they're getting ready to announce more tour dates for next year and that they're going to stay in one city for a while." So
Hmm, interesting.
yeah, so they're not gonna stay in Vegas. I think that's just what they said. Like, we'll stay in one city for a while, just not in Las Vegas because it's a million degrees over there. Valid. Some people think that it's gonna be Wembley. Super cool if it is. I can't afford it if it is. So I would like
It's
it somewhere
fine,
in the
I'll
states.
open a credit card.
Oh my god.
Some other news things. Chris is going to be performing a solo show at the iHeartRadio Music Festival in Las Vegas. He doesn't want to stick around there, but he can play. Um,
One show by himself in
yeah,
September.
he's doing a lot in September because that's also a global citizen. Um,
Yeah.
and then Coldplay Australia, New Zealand, they have designed a shirt for the new shows. We're going to put the link in our bio, so you can look at that. There's also a photo of Chris. This would normally be spoilers and speculation, except it is impossible to glean any knowledge from this. There's just a photo with Chris, and behind him are the lyrics to I Am a Mountain. Unfortunately for all of us, it is basically illegible.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody has figured it out by now, but I cannot. I can't read it. We probably need actually some Moon Lounge people in on that. Actually, that'll help. But yeah, that was from a photo that Eliana had posted of when she was recording "We Pray" with Chris, and yeah, you just see lyrics and the set list and everything just like in that photo, and yeah, you can't see anything though. Except for like all my love really really big, that's all I really noticed. um yeah, that's all. That's the news.
Yeah, that's the news.
All right, next we're gonna get right into tour news. um so from last week, whenever Coldplay were in Munich and Munich night 2, someone had a sign asking for speed sound, and Chris said that he messed up the studio version of the song years ago, and he still feels bad about it, and that they will never play it live anytime soon. Anyway, they hate us
That's
X and Y fans.
that's so wild to me because Speed of Sound is like one of the like most popular tracks off X and Y.
I think he's just still embarrassed about Crazy Frog.
No, he should embrace it.
Yeah. Um,
Go back into his making fun of Crazy Frog era. That was
I know,
wonderful.
I know.
Crazy Frog, where are you now?
You mean just the X and Y, era in general? Yeah, I would
Well, we
like to
don't
go
need to
X and
go
Y
all
era.
the way back. I just
Well,
think right
okay.
now in the Mott's era, Chris could keep disparaging Crazy Frog.
Yeah, but also I want the X and Y era back. I miss her.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
You know
that's all.
Viva didn't exist yet.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that. But, I meant like, God, they were playing Square One and White Shadows live. Come on.
Okay, yeah, never mind, you're right. I would love to hear Square One live.
Yeah, exactly. They opened the show with that. Like, oh my God.
Okay, never mind. We gotta go to the Twisted Logic tour.
I know, where they don't play Twisted Logic.
Well, yeah, that's the Twisted Logic. Get it? The logic is twisted. Okay.
Another thing from last week, there was a video from night 3 of Munich. They showed off new wristband effects for Good Feelings. I'm unsure if it was for all the Munich shows, but it looks awesome. Like, I can't really describe it because I'm really bad at describing things. But it does look really cool if you can find a video of that.
So, Monica, I'm curious, what is the most important piece of tour news this week?
Chris had a cute selfie in Vienna, posted the night before the first show. That's all.
I
I
see.
love him. I love him so much. So, Vienna night 1. There was a fan in an elephant costume, who joined the band on stage for Paradise. I feel like that's the only way I can really get on stage.
I know, I was
Cause
literally just saying that. I feel like that keeps happening. Maybe I just need to, like,
yeah,
wear an elephant suit.
yeah. Cause like I'm not putting Everglow on a sign, and if I'm not doing that, then I'm not gonna get picked. So I
Hashtag
gotta think of
Project
other
Ever
ways.
No. Well, at this point, you
Exactly.
could probably get up there with Don't Panic. That's been played quite a bit lately.
Yeah, yeah. I'm kind of over Don't Panic now as well. I want to hear something
The
else.
thing is, I would be over Don't Panic, except it's been stuck in my head all day today. Because we live in a beautiful world. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. But yeah, what was the songbook in Vienna, night one?
It was Everglow, of course. But
Of course.
right after that, Chris and Maggie Rogers had covered "Love Story" by Taylor Swift. Um, yeah, so that was super cool. And then for rotational, we had "God Put a Smile Upon Your Face" with some lines of "Shake It Off." And then Shaheem does it again. Brand new
Woohoo!
wristband effects for C stage for their walk to C stage. Hearts going around the stadium. Plus, he added "Believe in Love" in the wristbands after the show, eh,
Believe.
which is just amazing. I don't even know how you do that. Like, okay. So my thinking is, what happens if, and now this probably wouldn't happen, but what would happen in the case that like an entire section left? That happened to be like one of the E's or the O in love. Like, like what
But a
happens
whole
then?
section's not gonna leave. I think it's set up so
I
that
know
like
that.
it's made up of enough people that it is like extremely unlikely that enough people would
Yeah.
leave to disrupt the effect. Anyway, the moral is that Shaheem's a genius, and we
Yes.
need to start an official Shaheem fan club.
Yeah. This podcast again is not about Coldplay. It's about Shaheem.
Shaheem, we want you on our show, please.
Yeah. For real. For real. Well, first of all, I would really like to meet you. I only talk about you. I haven't actually met you. Um.
Monica, what if we made Shaheem fan shirts to wear to a concert?
Okay. I will. And then we have to go to the back and go to the lighting booth and say, "What up, Shaheem? Look at our fan shirts that we made for you specifically. You never met us, but we're fans."
What if we did a songbook sign about Shaheem?
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
All right then. Vienna Night 2. We Pray was sound checked. Chris sang some of Shake It Off during The Scientist. Don't Panic was songbook. God Put a Smile Upon Your Face was rotational. And most importantly, Chris promised everyone a Naked Johnny if they didn't film A Sky Full of Stars. So everyone stop filming. I need this right now.
Yeah, we've gone back on our previous stance. Listen to
Yeah.
whatever Chris says. Follow all his instructions.
Yes. Please. I'm begging you. And then Vienna Night 3, which was on Saturday, which is when we are recording this, because Daniel's out of town, so we can't record on Sunday, so we're gonna miss a show, so that's gonna be added for next week. Um, But for Vienna Night 3, We Pray was soundtracked again, but this time it was with the ending notes of Clocks and right into We Pray. Um, yeah. And then Shake It Off was the songbook,
That's a
and
lot
God
of
Put a
Shake
Smile.
It Off.
I know. Well,
Like
I'm sure Chris
specifically
only
just Shake
knows.
It Off.
I think Chris only knows two Taylor Swift songs,
I
and
feel
that
like
is Love Story and Shake It Off.
he would know Trouble.
I mean, well, that too. I think he played it once, like last year as well, whenever someone had a trouble sign. But this sign literally said shake it off." So that was on per the fans' request. That was not on Chris. That was the the fans asked for that song, so he was like, "Oh, okay, sure." Because like it was like a three. It was a sign that had like three sides to it. It was like folded a certain way that had three sides to it. So he was kind of looking through it all, and I don't know if he saw the Shake It Off sign first or any of the other whatever else that sign said first. So that's that. And then God Put a Smile Upon Your Face was rotational again. I miss Charlie Brown every day of my life.
Although today, while I was on the plane, I was listening to God Put a Smile Upon Your Face, and because it's been rotational so much, I was like imagining seeing specifically that song live, and I did almost
It's
start
so
just
good.
crying on the plane from imagining what it would feel like to
Mm-hmm.
see Coldplay live.
It's great. It's great. We will see Coldplay next year for sure. Also, I want to put like some context here behind them covering Taylor Swift songs in Vienna lately. Obviously, a lot of Shake It Off, as we said, um, as well as Love Story. Taylor, she was supposed to play in Vienna the week before Coldplay were there, but her shows got canceled due to a terrorist threat. Chris wanted to honor the Swifties and sing some of her songs. So yeah, that's very sweet of Chris. I'm so sorry to all the Taylor Swift fans out there, all the Swifties who didn't get to experience the show. I know what it's like to look forward to a show and then have it get canceled out of the blue. Yeah, so I feel for y'all. But I'm glad that everyone is safe. I hope everyone stays safe in Vienna. Um, and yeah, I hope that Taylor goes back and does some shows for y'all. Because I know that some of our streams are going up in Austria right now. So I know some of y'all are listening. Thank you. We appreciate that. And yeah, that's tour news. Yeah.
All right, so one thing our podcast does, since we don't have any kind of sponsor, is we are featuring a different charity every month. This is our last week of the month of August, where we're featuring the charity Save the Children. Um, so you can find them at savethechildren.net for the international website, or savethechildren.org, which is a US specific website. Um, and since it's our last week, I decided I wanted to highlight some specific, like personal stories of impacts that they've had around the world that were featured in their 2023 annual report. The names of most or all of the people in these stories have been changed for privacy and safety reasons. Also, forgive me if I pronounce things wrong. First off, 12-year-old Leslie was able to get a pair of prescription glasses through her school in El Salvador with support from Save the Children. 12-year-old Safir lost his home and school in floods in Pakistan, and now the Save the Children established temporary learning center is a safe space for him. He is studying to pursue his dream of becoming an engineer. Jamila's 20-month-old baby, Layla, was suffering from severe malnutrition in the Somali region of Ethiopia. She was able to get treatment at a Save the Children supported health center where they have like fresh supplies of plumpy nut and are able to provide emergency treatment. It was actually a Save the Children volunteer who was regularly visiting Jamila's village and noticed the issues she was having and directed her towards the health center. 10-year-old Rochelle and his mother Rashida live in a part of Bangladesh that floods often, which causes severe insecurity for a lot of the farmers who live there because during the floods, their only source of income and food disappears. They received support from a Save the Children program called Suchana to create sat gardens, which allow them to continue growing vegetables during the floods because the vegetables move with the flood waters and can keep growing. The added stability means they can keep selling vegetables and earning money and keep having access to food. And this financial stability has allowed Rashida to afford books, pens, and school fees for Rachel, who also is studying and wants to become an engineer. 13-year-old Simon was separated from his family while fleeing armed men in Sudan. He was able to make it to a city on his own and stayed put for a while, hoping his family would be looking for him and find him. They did not show up for him, but they were looking for him. After 3 months traveling alone, he was able to make it to the Joda border between Sudan and South Sudan. They identified him as an unaccompanied minor and were able to contact Save the Children, who traced the whereabouts of his parents and reunited them. 10-year-old Umut survived a devastating earthquake in Turkey. While his family was lucky and their house didn't collapse around them, it was left structurally unsafe to live in. The Save the Children provided mental health and psychology resources to help him cope with the trauma he experienced. And Ange is a youth advocate from Burkina Faso who was able to join Save the Children in Washington, D.C. She's passionate about the right of young girls to an education, uh, the protection from forced child marriages that is common in her country, and the impacts of climate change that are devastating her country. Um, yeah, I just thought an interesting thing to hear about is these like very specific ways of seeing impacts that Save the Children has had on people's lives in many different ways. And if this is something that you feel like you have the means to support, please by all means do so. Any form of donation provides more resources and more support.
Yeah, and again, for international, that is SaveTheChildren.net, and for the US, that is SaveTheChildren.org. All right, and now we have reached the portion of the show where we talk all about the spoilers and speculation for Coldplay's new album, Moon Music, landing on October 4th. So if you don't want to hear about any of that, you want to go into Moon Music completely fresh, then, you can go ahead and stop listening to the show. Thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. I hope you have a good rest of your day, night, morning, evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. We will see you next week. But if you want to stick around and join us for spoilers and speculation, come on in. The water's fine. So we're gonna touch upon some things that Phil had actually confirmed, in his interview with the Discord, with the Coldplay Discord. Rainbow emoji should no longer be called rainbow emoji because it has a real name. Its proper government name is Alien Hits Alien Radio. I'm glad that Alien Radio is around. It was like one of my favorite things about the promo of Music of the Spheres. And my Alien Radio shirt that I have is like my favorite. It's like legitimately like my favorite Coldplay shirt that I have because it's so cool. It's so colorful.
I
I'm
know it's
obsessed with
so
it.
rad. They need to make more shirts like that.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. So yeah, so I'm super psyched about that. Also confirmed on Alien Hits Alien Radio, Angel Song. That will be Will Song. Angel Song will be on that
Hooray!
track.
Will
Yeah.
singing on the album. I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be so good. I'm excited. And then lastly, this thing I'm super psyched about. As far as like actual confirmed news. One World. Brian Eno, the Brian Eno, is going to be a producer on One World. Y'all, he's back. I can't believe it. I missed him.
Monica, you
Make
know what
Viva
this
Part 2,
means?
please. What?
Brian Eno is technically producing you.
Oh my god, I'm gonna throw up. I'm gonna throw up. Oh my god. Oh my god. I waited years for this one. I forgot about that. I completely forgot that I'm on that track. Me as well as I'm sure a lot of people that are listening to this are on that song. Also, this is with the assumption that I'm actually on the song, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see whenever it actually comes out. I'm hyped about it. I love Brian Eno so much. That's all. Viva la vida. I'll always love you. You're my boo. Yeah.
Yeah, and this last one, it's I'm pretty sure this is like it's not that much of a question, but now that We Pray is out, obviously the next thought is there going to be another single before the album comes out? If so, what is it? And when we first heard All My Love in Athens, one of the things Chris mentioned is that we weren't supposed to hear it until September, not October.
Yeah.
He said September. So potentially one more single before the album, and it's All My Love, which would be cool. Or
Yeah.
maybe there is still a chance Chris was saying things. Chris was just saying
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
always a
He might have
chance.
just said that. Yeah, I feel like uh Chris just said that, and then after he said it, he just went back to his and just was like, "Never mind. Nope, never mind."
I am curious what the studio version is like because I'm sure it's going to be very different from like Chris performing it solo on a piano.
Yeah. I mean, whenever they sound checked "All My Love," apparently, I mean, it was full band, so that just piqued my interest fully. I'm excited about that. I hope that it is a full band ballad. That's what we need. It's gonna be good. I
I
can't
hope
wait.
that I will
I
like it
can't.
more with the full band because I did
Yeah,
honestly find
same.
it kind of mid when it was just Chris and the piano.
Um, I mean, it was fine. It was a basic piano ballad. For me, whenever he performed it on his own, but also like the whole situation in general in Athens was just not great. So, um, yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be a good one.
it's going to be a good one, boys.
Oh my god, not the hurts like heaven reference. Well, that's gonna be it for us this week. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff this week. A really bloated episode. But yeah, I'm always excited and happy whenever we get more Coldplay interviews, more Coldplay news, more Coldplay music, everything. I love it. I love this band. Um, but yeah, my name is Monica,
My name is still Daniel.
and we are Weekly Coldplay. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to Weekly Coldplay. For more Coldplay content from us, check us out on Twitter at Weekly Coldplay and Instagram at weekly.coldplay. That is weekly, period, Coldplay. And if you like what you hear, give us a follow on wherever you're listening to this podcast on. Thank you again, and we'll be back next week with more Coldplay news.